slide into some college basketball action as we take a look at the current action. A couple scores there for Wednesday night. But anyway, we're on to Thursday, and we are going to skip those conference games. I'm sorry, I know those are exciting, but I just haven't been following those no-name schools enough for the past couple of months. Although when we started off with college basketball, we're hitting hot and heavy with those obscure small schools. But anyway, we're going to start off with Cincinnati at UCF, 7 o'clock tip-off at Central Florida. Orlando. I believe their arena's in Orlando, if I'm correct. But anyway, Central Florida opened the betting as the 2-point favorite, total at 125. And since those markets opened that one up, we're seeing movement toward UCF. We're also seeing movement toward the over. Right now, the Knights are -2.5. Total moved up to 126. So once again, Central Florida open 2, up to -2.5. Total open 125, up to 126. UCF very good on their home court, 15-2 straight up at home. They rank 19th in the country in points allowed. They're giving up just 64 points per contest. They also rank 11th in defensive field goal percentage. Their opponents are shooting just 39% from the field when taking on the Knights. Now, UCF is a perfect 7-0 ATS in their last 7, 9-3 against the number, taking on teams over 550. Meanwhile, Cincinnati, they're 0-2 against the number in their couple of games as the official road underdog, and they are covering just 16% of their games, taking on teams allowing less than 67 points per contest. Total-wise, UCF 12-4 to the over on their home court. Give me UCF -2 after buying the half a point, and the over 126 in that matchup there. Next game, Iowa at Wisconsin, 7 o'clock tip-off at Wisconsin. The Badgers open -8, total open 139. We're seeing movement toward the over when it comes to the total. We're also seeing movement downward on the spread, a little bit of a fade when it comes to Wisconsin. They're down to 7.5, total 140 and a hook. So once again, Wisconsin open -8, down to -7.5. Total open 139, up to 140.5. 51% are leaning toward Iowa at the moment. But if you like Iowa in this matchup here, the Hawkeyes rank 191st in the country in offensive rebounding on the road. They also rank 229th in points allowed on the road. They're giving up 81 points per contest when traveling. The Hawkeyes dropped 3 out of their last 4 straight up. And they're also 0-6 against the spread in their last 6 games. They have not covered a point spread in their last 6 matchups. They've also failed to cover in 4 out of their last 8 as the official road underdog. Now, Wisconsin, they're covering 75% of their games, taking on teams allowing more than 72 points per contest. They're 12-3 straight up on their home court. Wisconsin also ranks 10th in the country in points allowed. They're giving up just 61 points per contest. They also rank 7th in shooting the 3-ball at home. They're shooting 42% from beyond the arc on their home court. That's better than a lot of teams' field goal percentage. Anyway, Iowa, 86% to the over, taking on teams averaging 67 to 72 points per contest. I'm going to purchase the half a point, slide it down, make another chalky play here. Chalky play and a square play. Give me Wisconsin -7 and the over 140.5 in that matchup there. Next game, SMU at Houston, 9 o'clock tip-off at the Cougars. Houston open -13, total 135. We're seeing movement toward Houston. We're seeing movement toward the over. Right now, Houston's 13.5, total 136. So once again, the Cougars open -13, up to -13.5. Total open 135, up to 136. Houston ranks 6th in offensive rebounding in the country. They also rank 5th in defensive points allowed. They're giving up just 60 points per contest. They also rank 2nd in defensive field goal percentage, 36% in that category there. Unbelievable. Houston, 18-1 straight up at home, 12-7 ATS in that same category. They are also 7-3 against the number in their last 10, and 6-1 ATS taking on teams under 500. SMU, well, they failed to cover in 7 out of their last 8, taking on teams allowing less than 67 points per contest. They've also failed to cover in 8 out of their last 10 when traveling. Total-wise, SMU 70% to the over on the road, 8-3 to the over, taking on teams averaging more than 72 points per contest. Give me Houston -13 after buying the half a point, and the over 136 in that matchup there for another square play. And we are going to slide into our next and final game for the show. It is going to be Cal Stanford. 11 o'clock tip-off at the Cardinal. Stanford opened 11.5, total 144. Not a whole lot of movement in this matchup here. Two-way action on the spread. A little bit of movement upward on the total. Once again, Stanford opened 11.5. They remain minus 11.5. Total open 144 up to 144 and a hook. Now Stanford, Dejon Davis is questionable for Thursday night's action, but regardless, Cal's been bad. They're like 7-22 straight up for the year. But anyway, Stanford 4-2 against the number in their last 6. They're covering 70% of their games as the official home favorite. They're being led by KZ Opala, who's scoring 17 points per contest, 6 rebounds a game. They also rank 33rd in the country in home field goal percentage. They're shooting 49% from the field on their home court. And yeah, I was right. Cal, 7-22 straight up overall for the year, 11-18 against the spread in those ball games. They've also covered just 8 out of 23 games as the official Vegas underdog. They rank 261st in the country in offensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, Cal is 4-2 to the under in their last 6. Stanford 4-0 to the under in their last 4. Give me Stanford minus 11 after buying the hook and the under 144.5 in that matchup there. All right, next and final slate, it is going to be in the NBA. Very short slate here, only 2 games. But should be some good ones. Could potentially be some good ones. Anyway, let's dive into it. Indiana at Milwaukee, 8 o'clock tip-off at the Bucks. Milwaukee opened 10.5, total open 222 and a hook. Not a whole lot of movement in this one. I guess we're seeing some pretty good two-way action in the early wagering. Milwaukee still at 10.5, total moved down to 222. So once again, the Bucks 10.5, total 222. 51% of the consensus is leaning toward Milwaukee, 53% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Pacers are plus 465 on the money line. Now, when it comes to the Pacers, big blow here because Sabonis is out for Thursday night's action. Now, for Milwaukee, Hill is out, and DiVincenzo is still struggling with that foot injury. He's out as well. But Milwaukee, regardless, they rank first in home scoring. They're averaging 120 points per contest on their home court. They also rank first in the NBA in home offensive rebounding. They are 25-5 straight up at home, 18-12 against the spread in that same category. They've also gone 12-5 ATS in their games that tipped off at the current number. And they're covering 62% of their games, taking on teams over 550. Now, Indiana failed to cover in 2 out of their 3 games against Milwaukee this season. They've also covered just 7 out of 17 games as the official road underdog. The Pacers ranked 26th in road offensive rebounding. Sabonis being out will not help that cause, as Sabonis, the leading rebound getter there. Indiana also ranks 27th in defending the 3-ball on the road. Now, total-wise, Indiana 5-2 to the over in their last 7. 17-14 to the over on the road this year. Meanwhile, Milwaukee 4-2 to the over in their last 6. They're 80% to the over in their games that tipped off at the current posted total. I'm going to purchase the half a point, slide it down, another square play here. Give me Milwaukee minus 10 in the over 222 in that matchup there. All right, next and final game for the show. It is going to be OKC at Portland. 10:30 tip-off in Rip City. Portland opened 3.5, total 233. Just seeing a little bit of movement on the total upward. Not a whole lot of movement when it comes to the lines in the early wagering. Once again, Portland minus 3.5, total open 233 up to 233.5. 53% of the consensus is leaning toward OKC. 55% is shaded toward the over. At the moment, OKC is plus 135 for some money line cash. Now, Andre Roberson still out indefinitely with that knee injury for OKC. Meanwhile, for Portland, Evan Turner's not playing Thursday night. He has been ruled out for that matchup there. Regardless of Portland, very good at home. They rank 2nd in home offensive rebounding. They also rank 3rd in home defensive rebounding. Portland is 24-8 straight up at home, 21-11 ATS in that same category, 7-1 against the number in their last 8, 6-2 straight up in those 8 ball games. Portland covers 62% of their games as the official home favorite. They're also 18-9 against the spread, taking on teams over 550. Now, OKC's failed to cover in 4